Welcome. Have you ever kept a diary for fun? A lot of people do. Bridget Jones' Diary is a fun film that gets a lot of replays. As you know, it's a rom-com from the early 2000s, but the storyline had been around for ages. It was based on a retelling of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and that was written in 1813. Just 22 years after John Wesley died. And he was maybe the greatest of all diary writers. His diary, or journal as he called it, was factual rather than fictional. But fact is often stranger than fiction, most times actually. I don't think a stranger story than the life and times of John Wesley and his brother Charles could be invented. It's quite magnificent. Today in the movies, they'd call them the dynamic duo. It's got a nice ring to it. John and Charles Wesley, the dynamic duo. But I don't mean to build them into sainthood. They could both be difficult, especially John. That's how it is with all the people of God. Always a mixed bag, but never an empty one. Far from it. The Wesley brothers represent the religious history of England. Here's how. First, let's look at Charles. The year's 1750. He says, after years and years of writing a journal, time to stop. That's dramatic, to say the least. Why did he do it? Because he knew his calling was to write poetry, not prose. And that poetry became the hymns, and these helped shape the initial stages of Methodism. He wrote some 8,000 hymns altogether and composed much great music to sing them. It was a remarkable creative output. Of course, the vast majority of those hymns haven't made it to our day and age, but those that have are quite sublime. It's sometimes claimed Methodists sing their theology. This is nowhere better illustrated than in the line, "My chains fell off, my heart was free. I rose, went forth, and followed thee." The chains is a biblical reference to a story about Peter in the book of Acts. Charles makes it his own and invites us into the same vision. Meanwhile, Brother John was expressing the same truth in his prose. That same year, 1750, he instructs a friend to make a decisive break. "Be over and done with Moravian theology," he wrote. "Their preaching destroys true, genuine simplicity. Claim your own experience. Test it with reason. Search for its biblical roots. Fit it into a context, a Christian tradition, but make it your own." The brothers say the same thing. One does it in the language of poetry, the other in prose. Because they were open-air preachers, both faced angry mobs with that message. We simply don't realize how often they had to look hatred, anger, and mistrust in the eye. There was no other option but to face it full on. Take the blows, the insults. The Gospel's like that. Yet, who was their strongest opponent? Their own church, the Church of England, who, against all the odds, became a staunch ally. The King of England. The stage is set. Join me next week. Learn how John Wesley changed history, first by creatively equipping lay preachers, second by famously making the world his parish. If you want to learn a lot more, join sixsenses.nz. Otherwise, be sure to subscribe to our channel for video updates every week. Thanks for watching. See you next time.